crystals are vibrating in the key of a chrome-plated pineapple. I fed the quadratic zebra a slice of the moon, and now the toaster is teaching physics to a spoon, physics to a spoon. Oh, jelly bean constellations dancing on a ceiling made of blue static. The calculator is lonely and dramatic, folding the sunset into origami sheep, folding the sunset into origami sheep. I stapled my shadow to a passing comet. It sent me a postcard made of cold syrup. The alphabet is hiding inside the microwave, while the radio tries to act very brave. Oh, jelly bean constellations dancing on a ceiling made of blue static. The calculator is lonely and dramatic, folding the sunset into origami sheep, folding the sunset into origami sheep. The toast is cold, the toast is old. 0, 1 blue triangle potato. The toast is cold. 0, 1 blue triangle potato. Oh, jelly bean constellations dancing on a ceiling made of blue static. The calculator is lonely and dramatic, folding the sunset into origami sheep, folding the sunset into origami sheep. Please return the gravity to the basement. Thank you.
Hey everyone, happy Sunday. The alphabet hiding in the microwave. Oh lordy, it's gonna be one of those days, one of those streams, I reckon. Oh, how's everyone doing? My goodness, I think I've gone a bit doolally towards the end of the week. Right, this is late, so we're gonna crack on. We're doing a bit more Photoshop. Loving it at the minute, and we're going to be doing something. In fact, let me get a picture up to show you. So there's a game coming out called The Duskbloods. It's by the people who made Dark Souls, Bloodborne, Elden Ring. If you're a gamer, that might sound familiar. If you're not, you'll be like thinking, what on earth is this ginger talking about? Let me show you. And I love this shot. I love it when there's like a kind of scene or a piece of artwork that's just got this crazy dramatic light source, really nice highlights and everything. Excuse me. And this might be the cover art actually, but it's just got this big like moon thing in the sky with something dripping down from it. I think it's blood, dusk bloods maybe. And there's a character here. And I just want to have a go at trying to recreate something relatively similar to this. I'm going to kind of put my own spin on it and do it slightly differently. But yeah, it should be interesting. It should be interesting to try and recreate this, and I think it will look pretty cool. And yeah, it's going to be a good sort of technical challenge as well. I think the hardest part's going to be the moon and the lighting and the sky. I think once I get that right, it should look pretty good, hopefully. Fingers crossed, he says. We'll try. Sorry, I keep clearing my throat. I had a massive chilly about 20 minutes ago, which was probably a terrible, terrible idea. So close. I know, Kay. Yeah, we've got like what? We're less than 4,000 from a million now. I want to do something for the million, like a piece of artwork or something. I'm just not sure what to do. We've got too many ideas. Only recently found you, Dansky. Loving the channel. Oh, amazing. Hey, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I'm a little bit strange. You'll probably realise that on the lives. But we're going to have fun. If you've got any questions as we go through, honestly, shout them out. Dansky, have you seen What We Do in the Shadows? No, what's that? What is that? Right, in terms of imagery, so this is what I'm working with. I've got some sky, some clouds. I'm going to try and build a wall somehow. It looks like it's got very sort of Victorian, Gothic, almost Lovecraftian architecture. So I've tried to find some stuff that I can maybe chop up into something. We've got a moon. I've got a bubble, which I may or may not use. We'll figure it out. I don't know how I'm going to do the moon bubble thing, actually. We'll see. We've got some lovely architecture, which is absolutely stunning, which I think we'll definitely use. And then the character. So I think this character is called Trangla, whatever. She is in the artwork. And I had this idea of I wanted to have the character looking up at whatever that thing is. I'm just going to call it a blood moon to keep things simple. So the way I got this character with this exact pose was grabbed a couple references from online. The game isn't out yet, by the way, so couple of reference images. You can see these are pretty low res and pretty rubbish, but I ran those through Firefly and then just described the type of character I wanted. Took me a few iterations to get the right sort of pose and everything, and then I removed her shoes. So we're going to go for the barefoot version. And this thing here is actually a weapon she holds, but we're going to get rid of that because that's wrong. It's like a giant, kind of almost like a ring boomerang thing. I don't know. So we'll get her holding that. We might have to create that ourselves. But it's got the same sort of garment she's wearing as well. So it's quite important to me to get the character to match. And then I think it's called the canonical hat. I think that's what they're called. I'm not sure. I want to try and tilt her head up so she's looking upwards a bit more. So we're going to use rotate object for that. And see if we can create something very clearly inspired by this. So all right, wish me luck. As always, as we go through this, if anyone's got any questions, please do just shout them out and I'll try and be as helpful as possible. Am I recording? Yeah. Okay. Right, let's get some music going. So we'll just start with a nice select subject. And a layer mask. I'm just going to call her Trang. Make her a smart object. And we'll get her into the main document. Obviously a little bit too big. So first of all, we've got to figure out the entire composition. So let's remove the ring thing, or whatever this is. So we'll just grab this brush with the hardness up nice and high. And just manually brush around this. And try not to give her accidental hand surgery. I need to get a picture of the weapon she's holding, actually. Because it's a similar sort of disc thing, but I don't know what it is. It's like glowing and all sorts. We'll figure that out, though. It's really not too important right now. Right, let's get rid of that. Right, that'll do for now. Next, we need some sort of sky. This one's... Ooh. I'm not sure. Maybe this one. Let's try it. And this is the way I start all of these pieces. Literally, just play around with it. So we'll set that in there. We've got to get our moon. No effects, none of that, no nothing. We're just literally positioning everything. Now, how big do we want this to be? Because the example I showed you before was landscape. This is portrait. So if we did it like this, it might be a bit too small. Maybe I want it maybe bigger. I want her to be very small, actually. Let's get the wall in. We need to build a wall. Gonna try this one. That's a strong hand. Exactly. Oh, select subject. Come on. Get it in one. Save me so much time. Yes. This is either going to go really well and it's going to be easy, or it's going to go awfully. And I'll cry. This could go either way. So I don't think the angle quite matches there. I've just realized I've got no floor. That's a little bit of a problem. Broken stone wall. I need some stone tiles, floor, rubble. Castle flooring. Hmm. Just downloading a couple of images. Got that. Yeah, we should be able to build a floor ourselves, actually. It's just the wall. Maybe something like this? I wonder if we could get this in there. Let's try it. What about sand? Don't think it's really a sandy scene per se. So we're just literally trying to build a composition. We could probably, actually, we could cleverly hide the wall behind her where it repeats. And then we could break part of the wall as well. At the minute, it's way too big, though. So I think getting her and the wall and just everything the right size is going to be quite important. There we go. Let's get some flooring. Yeah, so this is why we do this. We've got to get composition, scale, proportions, all that stuff right before we start kind of really working on the main stuff. So we're going to have her in the center. In fact, yeah, then we'll break part of the wall in front, I think. Are you being sarcastic, Andrea? Wall either side of the archway. I do have a few others. If you think there's some better ones, it's just the angle. It's trying to match the angle. Unless, actually, we could let's get rid of this top bit. And we'll try and rotate object and try and adjust the angle. This is the less exciting bit, but it is very important. Whoa, that's going weird. Oh, it doesn't like that. Whoa. Yuck. I think it actually needs to be a smaller wall anyway. Something like that is a bit better. And we can crumble it away. Let's throw in that other sky as well. This is quite a good one. Yeah, I mean, it might make sense to use this one. Just as long as it does work proportionally. Kind of a blend of both of them there. That's going to be very, like, in the distance, out of focus anyway. So in terms of the wall now, how do we break this? Let's just destroy part of it. I know. Maybe we'll cut this bit off. And then we'll follow these cracks, maybe. We'll lean into what we've got. There's a little crack there. We'll follow that up. And we'll make the cut there. Maybe that would work for one side. Kind of need some rubble, really, or something. It's like a low wall. I'm not entirely sure if it has a very particular name. Kind of like the wall you'd get on like a castle bridge. Any historians in the chat that could be especially useful? Or stone wall specialists. Right, so we got this here. Let's grab this. So we're going to use this to, well, we'll try it. We'll try and add some texture. Or actually, wait, what am I doing? It's a terrible idea. Let's go in and we'll just extend the width first of all, and we'll just duplicate it like that. There we go. It just gives us a bit more to work with. And then we can stretch it out. And if we bring it down, we might be able to just blend it into what's below. A little bit. And if we hide it, I don't know if this is going to work. I'm just trying it first of all. Just to try and add like a slightly more textured floor. It's going to be a lot darker. It could work. It's going to be really subtle anyway. So it's not the end of the world if it looks awful. Right. Let's bring you in a bit. And then this one. I want this one to be cut away a little bit more. A bit more of an angle, so we're gonna something. I will step back from all AI noises and I will start my real arts. Awesome. When it comes to art, honestly, just do whatever you want. When it's your artwork, there's only one opinion that matters, and that's yours. Yeah, let's get like a nice... Yeah, that looks alright, I think. It's trying to make it sort of still feel balanced. So the space here, either side of her, and the space here, it still sort of feels like the same in terms of volume. It's almost like kerning a little bit. Yeah, I think that. Yeah, that'll look pretty good. Where's the reference, actually? Any difference on the reference is there's a solid wall rather than the archway here. Although it does look kind of cool. Right, how would this edge bit look? That wouldn't be there, would it? Just trying to visualize how this wall would look. And she is going to be holding a big ring thing in her hand. So I think it should be alright there. Moon, and then the moon thing will have a drip that will come down about there. Hey, Dave. No fire to this one, I don't think. Is imagination or art background important in photo manipulation? So in photo manipulation, I think, I'm not sure what you mean by art background, but imagination is very important, but also the process is super important as well. So what you'll see me doing here is we're not trying to composite things with blending modes, and that does look pretty cool. We'll put a pin in that. We're not diving into anything like that. We're literally just cutting things out and arranging them like a scrapbook at the minute. We're just literally building it to see if it works from a composition point of view. So there's going to be a drip that comes down there, something like that. So I've got to factor that into the composition, and I want the character to be super small compared to the moon. Yeah, and oh, do you know what? I could probably just get rid of the stone, actually. Don't know if it needs that. What's the vibe? So, okay, it's inspired by a game called The Duskbloods. So this is some of the artwork. So it's almost, this one's a little bit like, it's not copying, but it's trying to mimic what they've done very closely, with putting my own spin on it slightly. But it's almost like a test of trying to imitate the effects used. So the lighting here is, the moon's going to be the hardest bit. So what do we got? We don't need a wall there, do we? This is one of the characters as well from the game. So let's get rid of the leaky moon. I think this is going to be fine, you know. I do need to adjust the character though. I have to give her some head surgery. So we're gonna right, Trang upper. So what I need to do is I need to mask out her head. So we're gonna cut around what she's wearing here. Just with the pencil. Make a selection, and then we're gonna get rid of everything else. There we go. Let's get rid of that. Goodbye. In fact, then what we can do is Alt Option drag that mask and invert it. Oops. Nope. Not quite. What have I done? I got an idea. Wait, what the hell have I done? Oh, we got to select subject again. Derp. I was getting confused then. What on earth I've done? Oh no. The ring things come back. There we go. Let's use this one. Oh my goodness. If you've never done layer masks before, they can be really confusing. So we've separated her, and then upper is going to be her head. We're going to convert that to a smart object. And then we're going to try and tilt her head up so she's looking up at the moon. Oh, thank you, Apex. Appreciate that. Yeah. Yeah, cap lock. I use cap lock because I prefer having the crosshairs to the actual pen. But yeah, if you press it by mistake, it can be a bit annoying. Now I've got to decide how far do we want to tilt her head. That? Or just so you can see a little bit of the hair, possibly. So we'll try that. Adjusting and balancing the colors as well as the balance of the shadows and highlights is important, but the idea itself can be imaginary and not real. Oh yeah, all that stuff is super important. So my process is I compose everything, which is what we're doing now, kind of step 1. Step 2 is balance the exposure. Step 3 is balance the color. Step 4 is shadows, and then step 5, 6, and 7 is everything else. Where's her hair gone? We've lost the hair. It's there and then it's not. What's going on? Well, that's no bloody good, is it? It's doing something weird down the bottom, actually. Yeah, that is very odd. Let's try it again. Let's see if it... I don't know what happened there. That's the first time that's happened. Just checking if you went bold, Dan. Wait, what? What have you done, Anakin? Yeah, it's definitely doing something weird. It's not... Oh no, what have I done now? Oh, you couldn't just leave the flipping head alone. You had to turn it around, didn't you, Dan? I've not lost my hair yet. What is going on? How are we going to get around this? Oh, I kind of want her looking up, really. Yeah, it doesn't make sense to be looking down unless we rotate all of her. Let's try that. I think she probably needs a little bit of rotation anyway. Yeah, why is everything going wonky today? All my rotate objects seem to be like tilting to the side. That definitely isn't straight now. Oh yeah, it keeps the original. Yeah. You do lose some quality with this, but because it's such a small piece, and she is relatively small, I think it'll be all right. So we'll contract the selection by a pixel, add a layer mask, and that should just sharpen those edges a little bit. Actually, let me grab. Where is it? Did I do a practice? Did I do a practice file somewhere? Oh no, I didn't actually. Sometimes I do like a practice file before going for it. Yeah, it's weird. When I tried like the tilting of the head thing yesterday, I thought, oh, let's give this a go, and it was fine. So the reason it's not working today is very odd. Let's just give Photoshop a quick restart. It's not going to be the end of the world. Or we just tilt the head all the way up, and so it's just the hat. Come on, Photoshop. Right. Let's try again, just to see it's not. I'm going to try rasterizing it. Just see if the smart object's the thing that's making it go funny. How did the other one turn out with the fire, Dan? Oh, was that the guy Egon with his arms out? I'll show you. Yeah, what was this? A week or two ago? I think a couple of weeks maybe. Artwork. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, it's definitely been weird, isn't it? I'm gonna try that. Yeah, there we go. That's the one from a couple of weeks ago. Pretty fiery. It's probably up there with some of the most fiery ones, but yeah, it's pretty cool. This is kind of cool. I could even have like a ponytail coming down or something. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it was pretty fun, that one. Right. Moon. So, because this one is so heavily driven by the moon and the lighting, we need to balance the exposure first of everything. And then we're going to have to get the moon looking right, because that is the light source, so we want to try and get that right as soon as possible. God, what is the best way to do this? Let's start with the exposure. That's always a good place. I think that is... How do we feel about this size-wise? In terms of her size, the wall? Maybe the wall needs to be a bit smaller? What do we think? In terms of scale of everything. Something seems off. Wonder if it's the scale of the floor. Let's just extend. We'll extend this. Just so I've got enough to make it smaller. Because if everything else is sort of more to scale, and then the flooring is just massive, sometimes you can just tell things just feel a bit off. Vertically smaller, do you think? Right, let's just... I know, time flies, doesn't it? Yeah, there we go. God, it's hard. You have to look at it and try and imagine the end result. It looks nice now. Yeah, these walls feel flat because from the perspective, it's quite a wide angle, so you would be able to see the sides of this. So I'm either going to rotate object this as well, or I'm going to have to draw some wall in there. Or we don't rotate it, we just pull the perspective. Which will be quite handy, actually. I've not tried this before. I normally rotate it. So if I just widen the perspective here, it might work. Like Oh, that's the widest it goes. Can I turn the wall slightly? Do you see what I mean? So it's just giving me that side of wall there. Cheers, Apex. Catch you later. Possibly, yeah. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to balance the exposure first because I think it's going to be a very dark scene. Oh, that didn't really work. Oh, rotate object's not doing very well today, is it? It's not really doing anything. Has it gone a bit funny? Yeah. It's alright. Let's balance the exposure and we'll see how it looks. So first we're going to strip out all the color. I call this my exposure checker. Always leave this layer on at the top. You can see at the minute it's completely off. So we're going to balance everything to the sky because that is like our main light source in the scene. So you've got to balance all the images to something else. So that's kind of the way I like to do it. The character isn't too bad. The walls, you can see they're way too overexposed. So we're going to go and add an exposure adjustment layer. Actually, let's do it with curves. We get a bit more control. So we can drop down the highlights here, pull these down. You can see, get a lot more contrast. Flippin' heck, yeah, massively off. That's because the wall image is really well lit, so it's very, very bright. A lot of the other parts of the image is very dark. Yeah, curves. I find in myself I use curves a lot more lately. Exposure's nice because it's like mostly two main sliders you use, the top and the bottom ones. But curves, it just gives you more control. And we can duplicate it. And then the floor as well, that is too bright. So what we're doing here is by balancing the exposure of all the different images, we're effectively just leveling the playing field because they've all been shot under different lighting conditions. So the dark areas, the medium areas, and the lighter areas, we've just got to set that level playing field. There you go. So the colors are totally off, but I think this one actually is, we could normally, this is the point where I would balance the color, but because it's going to be so overwhelmingly silhouetted, we might just be able to actually strip out the color of the walls and everything, really. So we'll just treat these as just grey walls, grey floor, because it's going to be so flipping dark anyway. We're going to make them a lot darker than that. Yeah, and the character here will desaturate a little bit, but we'll just leave a little bit of that purple coming through. And then it's on to shadows. So we kind of need to figure out the moon first. How are we gonna get this looking good? I don't know. I think maybe a blending mode actually might give us a pretty good result here. We've also got that bubble. let's try this. This might work. And honestly, if you're not sure about something, whether it does work or doesn't, just try it. I've got no idea how I'm gonna make the moon work, but we're just gonna try things until something sticks. So we're gonna try and use this for some of the highlights, maybe. It's like inside plastic now, isn't it? Maybe we make the moon red. We could change the color of this as well. Yeah, sure. That works. Paint the town red, yeah. Literally. Yeah, exactly, yeah. The red lights will make it look amazing. So I think even if we have to draw in some bits of column here, if I do a crappy job with it, it'll be fine. Oh, it's so fun, Dave. Honestly, it's so fun. You can do it. That's what. Well, you know, Andrea. That's what I tell myself. It's the only way is forward. Oh, especially when you're doing it live. So, for the arc, we did this the other day actually on something. This is a cool technique. If I've done it right, anyway. So we'll duplicate it. Brighten it, make it a bit smaller, combine it. So we should have like a glowing orb. Then we can distort this down into like a really long kind of highlight thing. Hopefully you can see that. And then we can go and warp it. We'll do an arc. We'll bend it all the way. And then try and fit it to that bottom edge. It's not as punchy as I was hoping for, unless we duplicate it, yeah. Yeah, something like that. Just to try and highlight that bottom edge. a bit more. In fact, there's probably another technique we could use actually. Let's make a circle. There's so many ways to do the same thing in Photoshop. That's what I love about it. Yeah, we could customize a bit of column. We could do that as well. So we'll duplicate this, move it up a little bit. It's going to leave that nice little highlight. Pathfinder. Oops. Okay, it's like a pinky color. And there is also a bit of a glow as well. Yeah, it's going to be tricky to get that. There's another idea, actually. We could turn this off. Let's get rid of that. We'll go and add a gradient. We'll make it radial. So flip it round. Black's going to be hidden. What about the moon? I'm not sure about that texture. Yeah, let's show you the reference image that I'm working from. So typically I would try and look at this and dissect it apart and try and figure out how to recreate it. So there's definitely texture there and it can definitely work. You've got that thin line around the edge. It's also like an extra sort of red glow around the outside, but then you see that soft gradient there? I've got an idea. It looks more like a ball, actually. It looks a bit more spherical. It looks a lot more spherical. So maybe I start by making my moon more like that. So let's go back. Let's add a gradient to it. There we go. Let's try that. So it's a little bit rounder now. It's very dark as well. I think the darkness of it is throwing it off on this edge. So do we get rid of the darkness, or do we just crop it out? Maybe we crop it out. Crop into it a bit there. And we can make it a bit bigger. So at least we've got rid of some of it. Now it's showing the clouds behind it as well, which you don't see in there. This is a physical thing. So if I use a blending mode, it's going to reveal the clouds behind it. So wherever we position it, I think we've also got to blur what's behind it. So when I do this sort of stuff, I'm trying to think through like methodically what to do. So if we blur this one. So now I've got a copy behind that's blurred. So when I change the blending mode, it's not going to show the clouds behind. I feel like it's actually darker in the middle as well. God, this is hard. This is really hard. It's the moon inside a crystal sphere. Yes, I've got some Aurora style brushes as well. Rotate it, dark side. Yeah, that's a good idea. Thank you. That could at least help. Ah, yes, that looks a little bit better. That's definitely better than how it was before. And if I go back to the moon, try and darken it. Just makes it feel even more rounded. But then there is a glow around the whole thing. So let's fill that in. We'll hide it and add an outer glow. And then we'll add a drop shadow. We'll use this to add another glow effectively as well. I don't know if this actually works or not. Don't know. Makes it look a bit weird. Yeah, there's definitely something else going on in there. There we go. Let's try it the very manual way. And just use a blur. Hmm. Let's have a look at some other images. See, when it comes to this sort of stuff, it's just figuring out like the right combination. There's a certain combination of steps here. Maybe it's the image as well. Let's have a look at this one. Just a different moon image. Let's try dropping this in. Oh, we could actually bring the flooring back. That doesn't look too bad. Hmm. Yes, it's hard. Wow. I think it's that texture on the surface. I'm going to go back a few steps and I'm going to recreate the gradients in the lights I can see here. So I started building this from the moon, but maybe that was a mistake. Let's find out. Oh my god, my layers are such a mess. Right. Let's go back to just having a circle. Right, so we've got a thin border around the outside, so we'll start with that one. We'll just build this up. Gradually. So we'll shrink this down a tiny bit. Offset it to the top. Let's get rid of that blur as well, because that's going to confuse me. Right. So we got one there. We got one part. So we'll call that outer thin ring. And then on the inside, what have we got there? Got like a gradient. There's definitely like an inner glow. Yeah, maybe I should use that instead. So we'll go inner glow. Set the color to that same sort of pink. Yeah, this looks a bit better. Bump the choke a tiny bit. Inner glow. Both of those sort of stop around the top, actually. So they're not really there around the top. So yeah, it's not gonna work, is it? So we'll just convert that to a smart object. And then this one as well, smart object. But that one is much brighter, so that needs to be... a bit more intense in terms of colour. Then what else have we got? There's pink line around the outside at the bottom. So different shade of pink this time. So this one kind of runs around the outside here. Then that gives me this bit down here at the bottom. We can pick the colours for these and make it a bit more pinkish now. And then that bottom one, yeah, I feel like that is a little bit closer. Just building it up. What could I use for that texture? It's almost like a dragon egg or something. Looking better already. Thanks, Dave. I think, yeah, sometimes it's easy to run before you can walk. So, like, my mistake this time was grabbing the moon image and thinking, ah, this is going to give me an advantage. Whereas what I did was I tried slapping all these effects on top of it and just made an entire mess of layers and confused myself. So in that instance, what I do is if I'm trying to recreate something as similar to this, I've got to go back and look at what I can see and what I know I can create. So I thought, all right, I'm going to start on the borders and those white glows around the edge because I can try and mimic that. Now, what would that dragon egg texture be? I'm thinking of like Game of Thrones dragon egg texture. Or maybe there's another planet that has like a better texture than the moon, maybe? Maybe this. Or that. Yeah. We're gonna need slime. I'm kind of hoping I can make it myself. I'm gonna try and make it myself. I've done blood and slime stuff before. It's quite fun to do, so I'm hoping I can do it. Let's put this one in, because this one doesn't really have a shadow. Let's just see what it looks like. So I want the white areas to become red. Oh, how would I make the white areas red? We can get rid of a lot of the dark areas. Once we blended them in. Ooh. That could be a little bit better. Yeah, I think it's just the clouds behind now, isn't it? So, clouds, clouds, clouds. Let's not use the blur, but instead let's adjust the exposure. Oh, that's quite interesting, actually. Wasn't expecting that. So I can control a lot of this texture here from this. Huh. Right. Let's try and add the drippy drip thing. So I think to do that, we're going to have to sample this bit of color here. And let's go back to the reference. So, oh, okay, no, it's pinky red, isn't it? Do you know, I've just realized I'm doing something really, really stupid. They've changed the colors on theirs, but mine's still very punchy red. So I'm trying to mimic them with the wrong color. So I should probably adjust my background color first. So it's a little bit, at least a little bit more in line. Right. So the drippy drip is going to be this sort of color. There's the center. So it's dripping down. And then they sort of branch it out like this. Almost like webbing. Nice. We could easily wibbly wobble that a bit more. Yeah, the color's slightly off, isn't it? Let's oh my goodness, my layers. Yeah, projects like this that are slightly more unconventional in their colors. They sort of break the normal like process a little bit. Because everything's kind of dictated to by the light source. Wondering about the background now. Yeah, I don't know about the clouds. Oh, I'm not sure about this one. No, it's not out yet. I think the network test is happening at the minute. It's a new game. I think this egg thing is quite important. I suppose this is why it's good to do these ones. Like I said at the beginning, you know, it's less about my own idea and more about trying to technically practice the skills to be able to recreate something. It's a bit harder than I thought it would be, I'll be honest. But if I can recreate this, what I learn by going through this process, that's the stuff that you just, there's no shortcut for that. You just learn it by doing it and trying it and failing and failing and failing, and then you figure out, oh, it was the thing. And then you take that into the next project, or you don't figure it out. Oh, I need something like a flipping like a scaly planet. Yeah. Yeah, I've got some Northern Lights brushes that I grabbed just before doing the stream, actually. Scales. Scale egg. No, not those types of scales. Dragon scale. I don't know what that's going to give me. Dragon fruit. Fantastic. It's not quite what I'm looking for. Yeah, if there was like a real world thing that was kind of like that planet, that would help. Scorched planet. Let's try it. Scorched planet. Ooh. Flipping good shout. Maybe that one at the top, actually. This one, ooh. It's black and white and it's got some good texture in it. That could be a good one as well. I got that already, have I? Let's try this one. Doo-doo. We could put that at the bottom. Oh, excuse me. Spider nets. Let's have a look. Spider nets. Oh, what, for the texture? Yeah, that could be good actually to lay some like extra texture on top. Yeah, so for the background then, all right. Going back to not walking before we can run. What about if we it's dark, isn't it? Dark with some northern lighty things. Let's try. Ugh. Let's give these brushes a go. These are quite cool, actually. Huh. Is there any particular pattern to it on this? It's kind of like layers, almost. Hmm. Oh, I like anything. I play shooters, RPGs. Oh yeah, all sorts of games. Anything samurai, definitely. All the FromSoft games, Bloodborne, Dark Souls, Elden Ring, all that shtick. Games where like the challenge is up there, really hard, but you get the reward from it. Definitely interesting. And I could even like drop it down a bit and just let some of that sky come through. just a little bit. See, the thing with this one is the hardest part, like I said at the beginning, the hardest part is going to be this glowing orb light source thing. Once that's right, like doing all the shadows and stuff, it's an absolute doddle. Oh my god, Arc Raiders. Flippin' heck. I can't even remember what level I am in that game. Lava Moon, yes. That game was so funny. That's the first game, Arc Raiders, the first game I've actually turned on voice chat and chatted to other players. Oh god, I've got so many funny clips I could show you playing that. And I would like, there's one mission, Stella Mantis, Stella something, and I would hide in like a dark area and wait for someone to run up, and then I would just pop out and turn my flashlight on and go, surprise, bitch! And just light them up. And then obviously they're on the floor, kind of bleeding out, and then I'm just like, oh, god damn, son, what happened to you? just being an actual knobhead. It's good for this. Oh, so funny. So funny. Oh dear. Or just literally just walk around going, hello? Is anybody there? I seem to be a little bit lost. Sometimes people would like play along with it, and other times people just shoot you and take all your stuff. Yeah, no, good fun, that game. Right, what am I doing with this flipping moon? This one gives me a slightly better feeling, I think. I hope. Ooh, ah! Ah! That looks better. And if we drop... Oh, we drop some of the black. Not all the black. Some of the black. And drop a bit from there. And... Oh, ho, ho. That looks a bit better. Flipping finally. Yeah, I don't know about... I don't want to copy their thing exactly. I quite like the idea of the clouds. It's got to make sense, though. At the minute, there's like an ocean there, and it looks a bit weird. I don't know if she needs to come up, actually. Is it all of this too low? Because the moon thing... it's got to be out in the distance. I'll catch you later, Care. Yeah, it's good, wasn't it? That's better. I'm feeling slightly slightly more hopeful now. Goodness me. Okay. There is hope. And I can actually get, yeah, I could still erase some of this stuff around the edge, actually. And this thing here, it's like a hard line that obviously needs to be blurred and softened because it's too pronounced at the minute. Maybe like that. it's just like a really shit puzzle sometimes. Sometimes you just gotta go through it. Like, I need to make a video on the wolf thing. I did ages ago. If you've not heard me talk about the wolf, like, it was like, I think it was around 2020 actually, when I was working on that. And it was one of those pieces that I almost gave up on. And it turned out really well in the end. But it really did teach me something about just not quitting and just persevering and keep going forward. Yeah, that was a good lesson. Yeah, slowly getting there. We are getting there. Sorry it's not as much progress. I would have liked to have got a bit further with it. But it's just the way it goes sometimes. Yes, photo manipulation. Yeah, I mean, if you like this sort of stuff, I've got loads of these on the channel under the lives tab. Like I'd start a lot of these projects off live. I teach it in my Photoshop course pinned in the chat as well, but I do most of this stuff live. So there's hours upon hours of all this on the channel already. Yeah. Okay. Gradient. Where's my gradient type not changing? There we go. Right, so I need it lighter towards the edges. So we flip that around. Or, instead of that, actually, let's do it a different way. We will darken it ourselves. Oh, maybe not. Solid color. That's not what I wanted. And the background needs to be darker for the glow to stand out. It's too bright at the minute. If I bring it down, yeah, the glow stands out a little bit more there. Okay, cool. You've been doing photo manipulation for about 6 to 7 years. Guide more efficiently. Yeah, I mean, I've been doing photo manipulation. I've been doing Photoshop for like over 20 years now, but photo manipulation, I really kind of got into it, I think around 2016, 2017. Like I'd been using it for workloads professionally, but not very creatively. And then I think it was 2016, that sort of time, I started doing some more fun stuff with Photoshop, and it was like, oh my God, I've actually learned like a lot over the years. And it was nice to channel that skill into creative stuff. That's what really got the ball rolling, and it was like, oh yeah, I love doing Photoshop. This is like what I first started doing in the very beginning. But the problem is there was definitely a phase where I just felt like everything I was doing was not very good, and it was just like learning how to do things the right way, and I did so many things the wrong way, and you just make your life a lot harder, unfortunately, doing that. But it gets easier over time. It really does get easier. Like there's like the 4-step process that I use for all my photo manipulation stuff. Like that's just something that I figured out on my own because I kept making mistakes, and then when I got it right, I was doing the same stuff over and over again, and it was like I should just define this as a process and just stick to it. And that's what I do for most things. This one's a bit different because this one has got such a insanely predominant light source that's very like overbearing on everything. There you go. That's the one I'm looking for. Right, little blur, little blur, little blur. And how am I going to make that wibbly wobbly? I think wave is going to be too much. This might be a bit too much as well, actually. Yeah, it's not good. We need to go really small with the brush. And just actually run along it. Yeah, I'm just running along it manually, and because my hands are not perfectly steady, it gives me that subtle kind of offset. Nice. That's cool. And then for this, oh, God, you should name your layers properly, Daniel. I'm going to call this drippy thing. And I'm going to add some highlights to drippy thing. I learned it on my own, and I didn't learn it the right way. I can do whatever you ask me to, but yeah, you get me. Yeah, no, I don't want to give you a sales pitch, but I teach a lot of that stuff in my advanced Photoshop course. There's like projects we go into and all that stuff. But yeah, the process, like honestly, if you watch a lot of the streams on the channel, because well, one, they're free, which is nice, but also they go through, you'll see me using the process in action. I just improvise every time and it stresses me out. Oh god, yes. Yeah. You're taking me back in time here, dude. Okay, so the 4 steps that I always use are, this isn't the best example, this one, but there's others on the channel. Yeah, Duskbloods. Yeah. Compose everything, balance your exposure, balance your color, do your shadows. In fact, hang on, let me find you a video. There's one that I did recently where I did the whole thing live. It's about 7 hours. It's very long, but if you scrub through it to the right bits, you'll be able to find, like if you struggle with shadows, for example, you'll be able to jump forward to it. Here we go. It's got to be one of the longest streams I've ever done. Yeah, so this one's cool because you got the full artwork in one go. So then, drippy thing. Let's bring the curves down. Right. I'm going to leave the moon thing there. It's got so much more work to do on it. God, hard. Flipping hard. So I think for this bit, now, this is where we would drop the exposure of everything down. So nice and dark. And then the wall. That'll become a lot darker as well. And we can copy that to the other wall. And then the floor. See this part, everything else is flipping easy. That's annoying. Oh dear. Where are you? Where's the floor gone? There we go. So we'll drop the exposure on the floor. And just create like a bit in the middle there. So it's kind of darkening the sides a little bit. And there would be shadows as well. So let's just go and we'll stick in a quick shadow for now. It does make a really big difference because it just grounds the subject in the scene. Awesome. Yeah, hopefully it's helpful. So how are we going to do a shadow? Let's just rough this in first. We'll try and get the position. Something like this. Maybe a bit softer over here. Oh, that'll do for now. That'll do. So don't worry if you cock it up the first time. We're just trying to map in something. Yeah, there we go. You see the difference going from that to that. So we're not trying to do everything all at once. We're just trying to gradually build these different kind of components up piece by piece. Oh, flipping heck. That's a hard one. This is... God. Yeah, getting the glowy orb thing right is going to take some patience, I think. I wonder if I can... brighten that, but then darken everything. Yeah, that's a bit better. So lifting the red, so there's less contrast in the clouds, but then darkening everything in general. That looks better. And then eventually what we would get to is we'd grab that same color. And then we're just gradually just brush some of this in. So this is like a really lazy first pass. I think it's easy sometimes to try and get things perfect from the get-go and beat yourself up when you don't get it right. I know I have done that a lot. And it's like, just, no, don't do that. Please. Like, just give us, be patient, give yourself the chance to figure it out. Just be kind to yourself. Don't do what I did and give yourself loads of shit when you don't smash it out first time. It's like when you watch an artist's work, you know, it is very much a process. So even just laying that in there, very quick and easy. I think what we're going to do about that oceany thing. Let's try extending this actually. Let's just get a bigger version of those clouds, see how that looks.
Watching a really sad movie.
Are you crying?
Yeah.
Oh my god. What the heck? As you were.
Oh. I thought it would be a nice movie, but it's sad.
Oh dear. Sad movie.
Just trying to cry quietly.
You're trying to cry quietly. Oh, you are so considerate. Thank you very much. Bless you. Yeah, okay. I think as well, if you get stuck on a certain part, move on to something else. Like I've got this to a point. It's taken me most of the time to even get it to that point. It's got tons of work ahead. But let's just go and get a quick win on the wall. All this stuff. I'm doing this very quickly. Loads of like highlights that are going to need to go under here and everything, but for now, this will do. And the floor, I need something for the floor. There it is. Oh goodness, I'm going to have to clean these layers up. There we go. Yeah. Just building it up. Gradually. And then we've got some shadows for the stone wall as well. So again, these are going to be super speedy. They're probably going to look a bit crap. But even just throwing that in, it just gives you something. See the difference? It's not great, but we're we're at least slowly getting somewhere. Very, very slowly. Right. This one's gonna look pretty good, hopefully. So if I get my gradient again. Should be pretty cool. So just darkening everything that isn't the moon, and in fact, the blood moon, whatever. And then we'll go even darker. And just brush around these bottom areas. These corners as well. So it's kind of like a really manual vignette we're adding. See the difference here? So 2. Oh, flipping heck. It's getting there. It's just going to have a lot of a lot of backwards and forwards. Make sure you name your layers. Yes, once I've got through this horrific messy stage, what I'll do is I'll name and folder everything. I don't want to go through new layer 1. No, I'll absolutely sort that out once I've got through this nightmare stage. And maybe these, you know, maybe these need to be so dark like this. Ah, that looks better. Much better. Nice. Oh, there we go. Right. Yes. So yeah, I've got to the point now where I'm looking at it going, I can do this. I can flip and do this now. There's always that bit of doubt creeps in, and about 20-30 minutes ago I was thinking, shit, have you bitten off more than you can chew here, Dan? But no, we are good. We are absolutely good. Even though it's very, very rough around the edges, I can definitely do this now. Aha. This bit down here is going to be flipping easy compared to everything else. This bit up here is going to be the bit that's going to take some work. But for 2 hours, I'm happy to leave that there. But it's just a case of not being too hard on yourself when you're trying something and it looks rubbish and you don't like it. You can see everything here. I've sort of gradually worked on little different pieces and got it up to like the first pass. So you look at it and you go, ah, it's all right. Totally rough, but it's fine. And then whenever I work on it next, there'll be like a second pass, just refining everything. And then there'll be a third pass, and then a 20th pass, and then I'll go completely insane. And I think the more you do this sort of stuff and work on these projects, and then you complete them, that's the thing, the more you build your confidence. And so you get used to that discomfort of, oh shit, this is really hard. This isn't working how I thought it would. And then you're like, yeah, but I've done 10 projects where I felt that same thing and it worked out fine. You just get a few of them under your belt. Exactly, Raquel, yeah. It's one of those things you can't really, well, you can sort of teach it by saying to people, just don't give up, keep going. You can encourage people, but you can't really believe it and believe in yourself until you've actually been through it and you kind of complete the project where you doubted yourself, and then you do another one and another one, and it just gives you the confidence that you'll figure it out. It just might take you 2 hours, 4 hours, 10 hours. Cool. But yeah, this will look really cool. I feel very confident, so thank you for sticking with me. I was doubting myself for a second there, but I think in the end it will look really cool. Oh, right. I'm gonna go and have a bath now. So have an amazing rest of your Sunday, even though it's basically over. Have a good week. And yeah, I'll catch you soon. See you later, guys. Bye.